Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are taking a really fascinating look at the INMU Dietetic Internship Competency Log. So let's quickly map out the chronological timeline of your internship. All right, Section 1, welcome to the platform. So, to give you a really clean mental roadmap of this whole journey, the manual breaks things down into 5 super straightforward steps. You sign up and log in, pick your specific rotation details, tackle your before the rotation expectations, handle your during the rotation activities, and then wrap it up with your after the rotation evaluations. Moving right along to Section 2, getting your account ready. Notice how there are 2 distinct paths for getting into the system. If you're a new user, you've got to hit that Sign Up tab and enter your officially registered email. From there, you set up a password, which triggers a one-time password, an OTP sent straight to your inbox. Verify that, and you're in. Existing users? Well, you've got it easy. Just use the Login tab, punch in your credentials, and you're good to go. But listen, the absolutely crucial point here is to always use the email registered with the program. That ensures your assigned courses sync up correctly. So, once you're inside, you're faced with this setup screen. Before you can even open a form, you have to tell the platform exactly where you are and what you're doing. You've got to select your course code, like NUND 621 for example, your rotation, and your specific site. I literally cannot overstate how important this is. These 3 fields must match your actual assignments perfectly before you click that blue Go button. Why? Because the platform uses these exact details to load up the right competencies and assign the correct evaluators to your profile. Get this wrong, and you're going to have a headache later. Hitting Go drops you into your central command center, the rotation dashboard. I love how logically organized this thing is. You can see the folder icons basically grouping your forms chronologically. Up top left, you've got your pre-rotation expectation. Right next to it is the mid-rotation self-reflection and your activity log. And then, clearly marked at the bottom in that shaded box with a bright red tag, is the post section for your final evaluations. Everything has a place, which just makes life so much easier. Which brings us to Section 3, setting pre-rotation expectations. Okay, before we even look at the forms themselves, I really need to draw your attention to this massive rule from the manual. I'm going to say this as clearly as possible. Once you click Submit, the form is locked, period. It cannot be edited, and this applies across the entire platform. It's a strict point of no return system. But it's designed that way for a reason, to capture your authentic thoughts and activities in the moment. So, just double check everything carefully before making that final click. This actually brilliantly illustrates how those locked forms build on one another. On one side, we have the pre-rotation expectation form. This is basically where you declare your intentions. Maybe you really want to strengthen your patient communication, or maybe your nutrition assessment skills. Then, on the other side, you've got the mid-rotation self-reflection. This is your midpoint reality check. You look back at the goals you set initially, and you honestly reflect on what you've learned. Where do you stand? It creates this beautifully structured dialogue of your personal growth over time. All right, let's get into the day-to-day stuff. Section 4, documenting your daily practice. When you pull up the activity log, direct your eyes right to the top of the screen. See those? Those are your real-time status trackers. You can instantly see your total activity log submitted on the left. In the middle, that green check mark tells you exactly how many logs your preceptor has already approved. And on the right, you see what's pending review. Honestly, it takes the guesswork completely out of wondering where you stand with your evaluations. Now, let's slow down for just a second, take a really good look at this blank Add Activity log form. Get very familiar with this screen because you are going to be spending a lot of time here. This form is the absolute core of your daily documentation. It's what transforms a busy day on the clinical floor into official, measurable data. Now, the system is pretty smart. It's going to auto-populate your site and rotation details. But, as the manual clearly dictates, you've got to manually tackle 4 specific steps before you can actually submit an activity. First up, you have to select the relevant competency from the menu that matches what you did. Second, write a clear description of the activity performed. Third, and this is key, add your reflection. Detail the actual learning you gained. And fourth, assign yourself a self-evaluation score. So, what does that score mean? Let's quickly clarify that scale. You're rating yourself from a 1 to a 5. A 1 basically means you're at a novice level for that specific competency. Totally fine, we all start somewhere. But as you progress, you'll move through developing, competent, and proficient, all the way up to a 5, which signifies you're an expert. It requires some really honest self-assessment. Now, here is a direct quote and the officially recommended practice straight from the manual. Record activities promptly, preferably on the same day or within the same week. Honestly, Try to do it the same day if you can. You want to capture those subtle details while they are completely fresh in your mind. And remember that golden rule we talked about earlier? Yep. Once you submit these daily logs, no going back. They cannot be changed. Prompt accurate entry is for sure your best friend here. Almost at the finish line. Section 5, Final Evaluations and Competence. When your rotation finally ends, you'll navigate down to that red post section we saw in your dashboard earlier to complete your comprehensive rotation evaluation. This is where you get to rate your satisfaction with the teaching quality, the learning facilities, the course content, the whole experience. It is a really valuable chance to provide essential feedback that actually helps shape the program for future dietetic students coming up behind you.